It is the 15th of June, 2023, 7:16, and this is how to glow up your grades. So, I know a lot of you guys probably have exams or dissertations and assignments due right now, so that's why I'm making this video. It's also just a lot of advice and tips that I wish someone had told me. This is going to be mostly focused on politics and econ and essay based subjects. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Hayes. I did liberal arts from King's College London. My major was politics, so that's why it's focused on those kind of things. So, first of all, this video isn't going to be what you expect. I know that in a lot of study tip videos, they're focused on, read these kind of books, do this, XYZ. But I first want to start off with kind of like my story, my journey, and like mindset shifts, which enabled me to go from like a 54 to a 77. Insert image. I think I'll put image here or something. So, first of all, a little background. I've never done econ in my whole life, and I got to uni and I was originally gonna major in film, and then I just got really interested in politics. I was like, whoa, this is really interesting. And even though, politics, a lot of my modules are in DPE, so there's a lot of econ in them, or like, political economy. So I went from literally getting like 54 in first year to now a 77 in third year. So, that's a good improvement, I think. So I think that's what warrants me to give this advice to you or to anyone who's struggling in their subject. So, tip number one that I have is to counterintuitively focus on the process. I know that's so shocking. You want better grades, but you're only focused on getting better grades, you won't get better grades. But if you're focused on learning more and understanding more and writing a really good essay or an essay that you think is really good, I can guarantee your grades are going to improve. Like, I remember in second year, I would get high two ones. So I'd be getting like 68, 69, and I just was sat there. I was stuck at that mark. I was like, why am I not getting 70s? Why am I not getting first? Like, I don't understand. And I think a part of it is because I was so focused on the outcome that I wasn't enjoying the process of learning. I was reading and going to my seminars and whatever, and I was engaging, but I think the engagement was in a more limited sense than in my third year, where I really was passionate because I picked modules that I really liked, or I would just try and weave knowledge no matter what your prompt is of your essay. That's tip number two. If you want to get like a first class essay, prove to your reader why what you're saying is worthwhile, right? So let's say the prompt is like the state should not intervene in the economy, discuss, right? You can list out your arguments of why the state shouldn't or if you agree with it or whatever, if you agree with the prompt or not. But then the main thing like that will get you to a first, and I was doing this even when I was getting 2 1s, so but anyway, is that you want to prove that you understand the prompt through a nuanced way. Like, is there something in the news, or is there a trend emerging in the literature? Is there something going on in the world around you that connects to this prompt? Use it. Teachers will love that. Also, it just makes your essay more interesting. It shows that you're really engaging with what you're learning. Second of all, weave knowledge. So, if your essay is about the state and should it intervene or whatever, think about, like, this connects to the previous point that I just said of like the world around you. We've knowledge from different subjects. Maybe you have a really niche hobby, or like you saw this film yesterday that kind of is connected or something. It has to be relevant, obviously, to what you're talking about. You can't just be like, oh, bananas, state intervention. It has to be a bit connected. But if you're able to succinctly like interweave different points of view and like different areas of knowledge without making it your like primary focus, I think that's a very interesting essay. For example, I had an essay about spatial inequality, And I focused on London because I'm from London and I go to a lot of parties. So I was thinking of how, wow, how come when I go to a party in South, it's different to a party from West London, East London? Wow, spatial inequalities can actually manifest culturally, etc., etc. You know, so I was making it, whatever your prompt is, make it interesting for yourself. That will show in your grade. The engagement, the passion that you have, it will show. And this point can be extended to just like education in general, right? Whatever way that you can, try and make your learning interesting for you. Because at the end of the day, even if you're motivated by getting good grades, or, oh, I need to get a first in uni so I can go to this uni and get a job and whatever, I think those are very, those motivators aren't going to be there when you're really stressed and you have a lot of things to do. But like, oh wow, this is really interesting. Maybe 5 years from now, something else will happen that will remind me of this thing that I learned in uni or whatever. That knowledge will never be a waste. Yeah, so that's my tip. Third tip is master the basics. This is the thing that I didn't learn until second year. And it was so simple. Like basically I was doing, so the first two tips that I gave you are actually like, you need to have a good foundation of knowledge on what you're writing about in your essay to be able to do them, to be able to be original, nuanced, and weave different points of view or different areas, you know, of knowledge into it, right? But it doesn't matter if you do those first two things if you don't even do the third one, which is address your foundations, right? Set out in your introduction, what are you going to do? Set out, how are you going to argue this? Why are you going to argue this? Then the body should be, you know, your arguments that you stated in the intro. And then your conclusion is basically just restating it. You will not get a first if your structure is not airtight, period. Like point blank. If your structure is not airtight, if you don't have various sources for what you're saying, if your grammar is bad, if they think that you speak in a way that is a bit too colloquial, those are the basics, right? Basically, your essay is making a pizza. And you want the dough to be fluffy. You want it to be thick, okay? So, and after you get that, then you can do you can put the mushroom, you can put the cheese, the olives, the chicken, right? Those are the other tips that I gave in the beginning. I gave those tips, the difficult tips in the beginning, because I think that is what most people struggle with. I think it's very easy to write a 2-1 essay or one even below that, right? It's very easy to write a good essay, but you don't want to just write a good essay. You want to write a great essay. You want to write an essay that when your teacher reads it, this guy, like, he cleans out his glasses, he's gobsmacked. And the only way he's going to be gobsmacked is if he can see an original point of view. And the funny thing is, like, I don't know how your brain works, but the way my brain works always throughout my life is that I've always found the difficult things easier to do than the tedious and the boring things. So even in first and second year, even though my essays were getting like 68, 69, the comments would be highly original, excellent point of analysis, right? But I was still not getting a first. And why was I not getting a first? Because I didn't do the basic. I would do my essay last minute. I didn't really proofread. I would just, like, the sources would be all over the place. Why would your teacher give you a first if you haven't even done the basic thing? But anyway, if you're doing the complicated things, like, good on you, because that's hard. Not everyone can think outside the box or, like, synthesize their analysis and, like, connect it to the larger world. That's really good. What other points do I have? How to glow up your grade? Yeah, focus on the learning. Obviously, really basic things. If you don't understand, don't leave concepts. Don't leave concepts. It is another huge tip. If you're behind on reading, it happens to everybody, or maybe you're not doing the reading or whatever. You need to do the core reading, first of all, go to your lectures, basic things. But, I mean, I didn't do that all the time, but I still got good grades. Maybe what you can do is, if you don't find your reading interesting or you don't find a specific week in your module interesting, what you can do is you can look up a podcast. You can look up a YouTube video on a similar topic. You'll be able to find someone who talks about what is being discussed in a way that you find engaging, right? I remember I did like a philosophy of physics module and I found it really difficult. I've never done physics in my life. and I just like checked out a physics textbook from the library, and then the textbook was really dense. So I started listening, like I sat in the park with my notebook and I listened to a podcast, and the podcast was amazing. I didn't do the core reading for the seminar, like I skimmed it and I still was able to answer the questions in the seminar. So find an alternative source of information if the one that you currently have is not doing it for you, you know. Another piece of advice I think that is really useful is form like good relationships, as in like with your teachers, with people in your seminar. Just like be nice, you know. And it's good to study with other people, because or at least look at other people's essays. So if I have a friend and I'll look at her essay and I'll give her feedback, or I've done this for like multiple friends, because I know it might seem like, oh, why are you going over someone else's essay? Don't you have work of your own or whatever? And yeah, I do. But in going over other people's essays, you can see mistakes that they make that you might be making. And also, it trying to teach someone else will clarify how clearly you understand something. So like if I try and teach you inflation or whatever, I can see, oh, do I really understand it or do I not? Because I'm trying to explain it to you. So have good social bonds, social relationships, you know, show your work, don't be stingy, show your work, or share it with other people, and also look at their work. That's a good tip. This one girl in my econ class, she was so lovely. Honestly, she saved my ass so many times. So yeah, what else? Yeah, address. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any more questions on how to write a first class essay or how to glow up your grades, comment down below. Also, these tips apply no matter what subject you're studying. I know I said these are focused on essay-based subjects, but I took a film class, I took different art modules as well. And I think if you have that passion and that intention for learning, as opposed to just getting good grades, the good grades will follow. I swear to God. I know it's so cheesy. I know nobody wants to hear it, but I swear to God it's true. At least in my experience. I don't know if you guys know this Bollywood movie called Three Idiots, but that's what it's about. He says that don't run after success, run after excellence, because when you run after excellence, then success will follow behind you. So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys like this video and I hope that it was helpful. If you need any other study tips or just questions, yeah, comment down below. I'll also put my Instagram. So yeah, and good luck with your deadlines and your dissertations. That's all. Bye.